here is what I think when we start on these ventures we should do. When you're doing your planning, when your things are coming through, we should have started with knowing the intent of our departure from our motherlands. Why are we leaving? What do we want to gain out of this uprooting of family and starting on these new journeys? Why are you leaving the continent? So once you establish your reason why you're leaving, then that's a good start. Or you may have not thought about why you're leaving. You know you have to leave, right? And once you leave, what are you going to do? What's your goal? What's your plan? Once you leave, when you get here, yes, you want to get a job, you want to get your kids in school, and then what? I think those are critical questions that most of us did not ask ourselves or have not asked ourselves when we have been taking all these long journeys to get out. Why are you leaving? What do you intend to do when you get to these lands? So we have established that you're leaving because of political hardship, or you're leaving because of economic hardships. You have to have established why that's happening for you. So now that you know that, you are now in these new lands. What are you gonna do? What is your game plan? Get a job, number one. Get the kids in schools, number two. And I feel if you have left the continent and you're already in your 30s, 40s, 50s and beyond, what is your plan for your retirement? What are you planning? What are you thinking? So let's talk about the ones in the 30s. Once you figure out you want to leave the country, you have left, and you are here, you have a job, and then you are planning on getting yourself an education, go to school maybe at some point. Those are plans. Of course, things do change. You don't know. It might actually, let me go this way. Might be muddy. This is where I normally walk, but it's been raining, so it might be messy. A little bit messy. It looks a little bit unkempt here because people are doing this. So we are familiar with this. Most of us are familiar with this. I know the city will come through. There's a big sign, no dumping. But human beings are human beings. We're doing exactly what we're being told not to do. It's not like they don't have garbage collection in this neighborhood. And I think this has happened because today, as I'm walking around, is a bank holiday, what they call a bank holiday. So garbage was supposed to have been collected today, and people have taken the liberty to come and dump here. That is gross. Anyway, I'm not going to discuss that part. That's not why I'm talking to you all. That's a conversation for another day. But at least you've seen that dumping also happens. It's human beings. And yet the services are there. Just not wanting to keep the garbage in your backyard and let the city come and pick it up tomorrow. Because today, the bank holiday, they didn't work. So you have established that you are here because you want to make yourself economically better. You left your country because there were no jobs, the schools don't have the same sort of facilities that your children will be exposed to here. Hi, how you doing? I'm good. Ready for school? It's almost coming around the corner. Good girls. So here's the thing. Now that you know you're here to improve your economic situation, you've run away from the poverty, maybe political instability, and you're here. Where's the focus? You gotta get a job. You got to get a job. Most of us have not been working. Maybe we have not even been able to get a diploma or degree from where we're coming from because our parents couldn't afford it. And we just finish our high schools and then we just hang out. I don't know what your situation is, but whatever the situation, it made you move. So your aim would be to be as economically independent as you possibly can. Make the moolah, make the money, buy a home, send your kids to school, buy them food, you don't sleep on empty stomachs. And then, what are you going to do for your retirement? I think that's one thing that we don't think about. I want to talk to the 30s. When you come here and you get a job, don't just start this business of spending. Spend, like what most people do. Just don't do that. Every paycheck that you get, you should learn to pay yourself first. And for most of us, we didn't even know what that meant. Because when we left the countries that we came from, that pension was something that was automatically done for you without you actively participating in it. You know there's something being deducted. You don't even know how or where it's being invested, but it's there. So here you are meant to be actively participating in your retirement investment, which means, let me speak for the Murikas, you get what they call a 401k. Not sure what it is called in the UK. Please comment below. So you have that 401k, but you have to choose to be in it, and you can simply just opt out. You don't have to do it if you don't want. So for most of us who have never learned or had the opportunity to save money, I think that's a smart way to automatically have that investment happening because it's already deducted from your paycheck. Once you sign up for it, you don't even have to think about it. But I would encourage you to learn what a 401k does, and in the UK, whatever retirement plan that your employer sets up, join it. That's a good way of starting to put away some money for your retirement. And let me just put out a disclaimer here. I am not a financial expert. I am just talking here. Kungo kurukura, kubatsrana. If I had had somebody who would open their mouth and say, hey, do this, do that, idaiso, maybe I would have learned to do the investment part way earlier and started stacking up and stashing some retirement portfolios. So what I'm saying is start early, start investing in 401k plans or whatever retirement plan that exists in the countries that you have migrated to. I love taking a walk in this pathway. It is so pretty. Yeah. Anywho, let's talk about, now that you are employed, you have a job, you have found out what a 401k plan is, you have an idea what it is and how you invest in it, you are on your way to your financial freedom. You now know that it is up to you to keep that 401k active, because you have to, at the beginning of each financial year, they come back and tell you to re-enroll. I think that's how they did it. Yeah. So you remain in the 401k plan by saying yes or no, you're going to continue. So you have that in place. The next thing is you have to look at what your net income is. That amount of money that is put into your bank account. So sometimes we get carried away by looking at how much we get paid as a gross income. It looks very nice, but when you are looking at your gross income, you make yourself get into trouble real quick, because that's not what is the amount of money that ends up in your bank account. So we gotta learn how to budget that net income that ends up being rolled into our bank account every bi-weekly or every end of the month. So it's difficult for some people who are not used to doing the bi-weekly paycheck, because you just spend, because in 2 weeks' time you have another paycheck. But that's dangerous, because some of the expenses are monthly, and when you don't look at your money either as a whole for the month, and you're just looking at that bi-weekly paycheck and overspend on it, by the time the month end comes, you might not have enough money to make your budget balance. So we have to learn how to budget. Look at how pretty the areas surrounding these homes are. They leave a lot of green space, which is really nice. Nice to take a walk, especially in the mornings or late in the evenings like this. But it's so humid just now. We had a few showers of rain. Anyway, let's continue the conversation about budgeting. Budget. What is a budget? It's just putting down, allocating every penny that you have made, that which ends up in your bank account, allocating every penny, know where every penny is, so that you don't end up spending money that you do not have. So it would be looking at rent, electricity, gas for the cars, bus passes, whatever it is that you use your money for, food, the children, school uniforms, that every penny should be allocated. And once you have looked at all your expenses, make sure that every paycheck has some money that you put aside for investing somewhere, somehow. Yes, we've talked about the 401k, but you still need to do more investing so that your nest egg is, adequate by the time you retire. Allocate every penny. Know where all your money is going to. If both of you are working, husband and wife, I think the smartest thing that you can do is to put your monies together and work as a tag team in order to achieve your goals with more focus and a little bit faster. Don't fight, Sit down at the table, talk about money. Let the conversation about money not be a conversation where you start fighting. Just talk about money, normalize talking about money between couples so that when you sit down to budget, you're not screaming at each other. Itai kugara muchitaura nenyaya yemari yamuri kushandira kuti zvive zvinhu zvakakodzera uye zvisiri chishamiso. Normalize it. Make it a comfortable conversation. Tinoitya mari, we fear money. This is why we end up fights about it. We end up with fights about it. So normalize talking about money. Learn to talk to your children about money so they understand it doesn't grow on trees. The biggest lesson that you should have and you should master is not to live beyond your means. Do not, I repeat, do not live beyond your limits. If your paycheck is £2,000 and you've done your numbers, you've crunched the numbers, and your expenses are at 2,500, where do you think the other 500 is going to fall from? I'm sure by now you have realized money don't fall from no tree. Make sure your expenses do not exceed what you are bringing home. Getting your paycheck and taking all the money out of the bank account without even noting where you're putting the money, you end up in trouble. Unojomba sebhasikoro. Unoita flat tire. Kuti photo kugara pasi. Zvinhu zvisisafambi. Kumele lijwayele ukwenza amabudget. Vantu vasekhaya ngiyalicela ukuthi lihlale phansi libone ukuthi imali elizisebenzayo, imali engena ebhenkini inganani, izasebenzani. Libhale phansi libone ukuthi imali elinayo iyakwanelana. Lazwe izinto, your expenses. Yeah. Ngazvifambirani. Matongoita minus matopinda mutrouble. Muchaiwana kupi. So I couldn't emphasize that part enough, guys. And before I go for today, because we want to continue this conversation again, educate yourself about money, educate yourself on investment, educate yourself on real estate, how to invest in it. Be an all-round learner. Dzidzai zvemari kuti inochengetwa sei, inoinvestwa sei. Funda nini ukuthi imali iyagcinwa njani, uyainvesta njani, ngawaphi ama-portfolios ongawasebenzisa ukuthi ube le steady investment. And sometimes it's slow, but slow and steady gets you to where you want to go. Some shortcuts might not work. It doesn't really work for everybody. Just slow and steady, consistency, and making sure you are fully invested in what you're investing in, and you have an interest in it. Don't let anybody tell you when you're not fully invested in what is going on with your money. Have an interest. Find out. If you use a brokerage firm, that's fine. If you use a financial advisor, that's fine. But have an interest. You just don't give them your money and lay back and sit back and say, they're getting paid to do the job. No. You worked for that money, so you better have some interest in knowing how your investor is allocating the money. Dzidzai nenyaya yemari. Dzakawanda nzira dzekuita mari zvakanaka. Dzidzai muri ikoko. Musangogara chete muchingoenda kuMcDonald's. Yeah, nekuenda ku TJ Maxx and kwese kumamarket muchingonotenga zvinhu. Tsvagai kuinvesta kune zvinhu zvinozokupai return mangwana. Ndokuchengetedza mari yekuti kana makuzoti takuda kuretire munenge mune twenyu twakarongeka. Isu dai takatowanawo vanhu vaitirayirawo nguva yedu, pamwe takatosvika pariri nani takakurira mudzimba dzisina mari kumfa koso maparents vedu vabereki vedu aingorenta, so ndozvavakangotisiyirwa izvozvo. Vakatozodziwana dzimba idzodzo takutongozodziwanawo inheritance vashaya. Ivo vakanga vasingatombozivi kuti chii chinonzi kutenga dzimba. Variko vamwe vanokura vari mumari nevabereki vanoziva kuronga mari. Isu veruzhinji takangokura tichingoseva nemuto. So kutozvidzidzisa asikana nevakomana, dzidzai stereki kuti mari inowanda nekuunganidzwa sei munzira dzakanaka. Let's continue this conversation. We'll be talking to you soon. Take care. Bye.